Academy class of 2008, a very diverse and accomplished class. One of the many benefits of my charter school education was being in the company of my fellow students, who were deeply committed to their own education and who inspired me to work even harder in my own studies. In this talk, I want to mention several of the lessons from my high school education that have had an enduring influence on my life and I'm sure on the lives of all of my fellow classmates. I will elaborate on each of these lessons in this order. Lesson number 1, learning is pain. Lesson number 2, words are important. Lesson number 3, one must value both science and art in the pursuit of truth. And lesson number 4, esse quam videri, which is Latin for to be rather than to seem. So let us begin with lesson number 1, learning is pain. These were the first words that I heard on my first day as a student at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy from a history professor who was paraphrasing Aristotle. Students, he said, learning is pain. It was an intimidating first day. But this class, the demands of this particular history class, would require me to take in vast amount of information, which I had never had to do before. The techniques that I discovered for processing and consuming facts and concepts from my challenging high school classes were the same that I would use in college and eventually in medical school. I was never again intimidated by large volumes of information. I knew I could do it if I put in the time and effort. It was just like high school U.S. history. Learning is not without great effort and industry. In medical school, when I face an extraordinary amount of knowledge to take in, I smile and I think, learning is pain. But Mr. Smith told me that on the very first day. The second lesson that has stayed with me from my classical education in high school is that words are important. At Thomas Jefferson, we were required to take 2 years of Latin, 2 years of logic, and a year of rhetoric. I ended up taking 3 years of Latin and a year of classical Greek as well. I acquired a great respect for words, their origins, and their meanings through the study of classical Latin and Greek. In logic and rhetoric, I learned the role of words in deciphering and communicating truth. I still remember my high school rhetoric teacher demanding that we use language precisely and know not only the way that a word was commonly used, but that word's linguistic origin, its etymology. He wanted us to be sure we were using the word in its truest sense, rather than merely accepting a common misinterpretation of its meaning. I remember reading during my high school rhetoric course about the dangers of the misuse of language. We read an essay by George Orwell entitled Politics and the English Language. Orwell warns in this essay against those who would use language to hide and to obfuscate their true meaning, rather than to reveal and to clarify it. This taught me to think critically when analyzing the writings and the speech of others, and to determine who I could trust. The purpose of language is to convey truth. As a student of philosophy and of classical education, truth is of ultimate importance to me, and therefore I learned language is important. This brings me to the third lesson from my high school education, that just as words are important for deciphering and conveying what is true, so also both the arts and the sciences are essential as different approaches in the pursuit of and expression of the truth. In high school, I learned from passionate teachers who inspired me to love a broad range of subjects, from calculus and chemistry to art history and ballet. One particular teacher, who taught both mathematics and art history, showed me that studying reality from different perspectives and making connections among different fields of knowledge is essential and also happens to be great fun. I was also able to discover the limitations of different fields. The poets could not teach me chemistry or biology. For this, I must consult the scientific literature. At the same time, the scientific method could not teach me about the sufferings of the human heart. For this, I needed Steinbeck, Shakespeare, and Augustine. Because of my exposure to all of these ways of thinking and learning in high school, I wanted to study a broad range of subjects in college, and I majored in philosophy with minors in biology, chemistry, and mathematics. I was inspired to seek education instead of job training. I wanted to be able to understand approaches from many different fields so that I could learn to teach myself anything, rather than gain specific technical knowledge in only one particular field. My classical education in high school inspired this outlook on learning in college, and it has served me well in the study and practice of medicine. Medicine requires both an understanding of scientific knowledge and a profound understanding of the human person. The fourth and most important lesson that I learned in high school was esse quam videri, a Latin phrase meaning to be rather than to seem. It is the motto of the state of North Carolina and of Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. The phrase is used by Cicero, who explains that many would choose to have the appearance of being virtuous rather than having virtue. The phrase esse quam videri reminds us of the importance of being virtuous rather than merely seeming so to others. One must value excellence over honor. My high school, Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy, brought this phrase to life for me. Thomas Jefferson was a small school in a small town in Rutherford County, North Carolina, a school where over half of the students were below poverty level. My education didn't require a big city or large amounts of money or prestige. It took people of character, energy, and passion who wanted to do something great, offer a top-notch classical education to students in rural North Carolina. Each and every faculty member at Thomas Jefferson believed in this mission, and they built something excellent that I was proud to be a part of. Thomas Jefferson taught me to be humble and not to chase after honor, but to seek to be truly excellent in what I do. Esse quam videri, to be rather than to seem. I'd like to end by thanking you for your attention and for what you are doing for students in the state of North Carolina. Thank you for giving them the chance to be taught by teachers who are industrious and who will require the same work ethic from their students, as learning is not without pain. Thank you for your dedication to the pursuit of truth in a range of academic fields. Thank you for striving for excellence in public education. It is a demanding task, but you have such a profound influence on the lives of so many, and we will be forever grateful to you. Thank you.